I'm Mike Hain, and I'm talking to you. I'm in the activities room for the elderly. Today is October 30th, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m., 2024, October 30th. The nursing home is very good. Now, with my case, as I've talked about, there are two women I use on the internet, on YouTube. Annie Jacobsen, Jacobsen, Annie Jacobsen, and Whitney Webb, Whitney, Whitney Webb, W-E-B-B. And the things these young women reporters report on is verifiable news that they've talked to ex-generals, ex-government people, and they have found the stories out. So I'm not saying something that hasn't been revealed, but there's a third one. So in the nursing home, when I die and my blood pressure is 126 over 97 or something like that. It's not right. When I was young, it was 120 over 60. And so I could die anytime. And when I do, it'll be the same as a writer in South America or somewhere in the Middle East or someplace where they kill the writer and then they get rid of all his writing. So you'll never know what my writing was. And they used to call that being blacklisted. Blacklisted was it was because the book in Las Vegas, the book was black. So if you got blacklisted, you were written down in the book and you couldn't enter the casinos. And you see that in the gangster movies. And in Hollywood, it's probably the same thing. Blacklisted. But they changed it to canceled. Now, we could talk to some of these sort of shallow psychologists that analyze things. It's the same as everybody else. It's what I write about in my writing, the massive culture, which is called totalitarianism. You can see the beautiful decorations here. This is a very high-class nursing home. I'm 70 years old, and about 2 years ago, I started to become crippled and to die. But there was nobody there to tell me what was happening. There was no family, no friends, no advisors, nobody. And when I do die, they will find a story, but it'll be a cover story. It'll not be the truth of what really happened. And that's what I'm not revealing anything that hasn't been declassified. Okay? But I'm on about 10 to 15 pills a day. Some of them are pain pills. I know I'm not making it. I'm not even writing one page a day. I'm living a happy life in the nursing home. I could easily write some stories that would shock you. Just fictional stories. I've been working on one for over 20 years. Okay, and I'm sure it's been plagiarized. I don't watch the modern day movies about all the apocalyptic things. But if I wrote mine, you'd be shocked. Okay, H.G. Wells. So if you look at these amateur, sort of like shallow psychologists, they say just a shallow reading of the person. Oh, they always do that. Oh, you know. They want to justify themselves. I'm telling the true episodes, and they're on the website. I've already done a bunch of them about crime in Houston, 1973 to 1977, and then 1978, 1979, 1980 when I was stalked. And now I know it was a counterfeiting ring, just like I always kind of suspected. I was a printer at a small print shop in Bel Air, Texas, in Houston. And I'm doing 500 business. I'm an expert printer, and I was doing 500 business cards a week. There's no way that's making, even a day, that would not be making the budget for this place. Then other people started to be hiring, and I was sort of curious, why they're hiring these other people? Now I know they were getting paid by the government for training and hiring juvenile delinquents. But even if you uncover that story, that's not the true story. So, I'm proud of the story. So in this place, I've had to make some adjustments, and it happened at the previous place. I lived for 4 years in a mobile home, a trashy mobile home, 15 miles east of the Las Vegas Strip. And I was very confused. What's going on here? What is this? Why is every single person you meet some kind of gamester or gangster or player? What is this? And I know from my own writing, having never watched the 50,000 or 10,000 TV shows and movies and half-hour comedy skits and hour dramas, I've never watched them. But I know that's what's causing it. When you write a TV show about gangsters, even The Godfather, it was about the guy being reflective at the end and saying, you know, the way I started, tricking girls into prostitution, delivering heroin to Manhattan, and boy, is there a market. What's that all about? You know, and at the end, the gangster is in real estate. Well, now I got my names on buildings and things. I'm legitimate. But that's not the point of the Godfather story. The point is he's reflective on what he did to begin. He's guilty. The whole movie has religion in it. So having these TV shows that make the people into these creepy characters. So I'm trying to, with all of the drugs in me and all of the confusion, and it never ends. I don't know if I'll die. I've seen one friend die. I was nice to him, and he was always getting weaker and weaker. And I saw him the morning after he died, and he was laying on his side in the bed, smiling, with his eyes half open. I didn't want to disturb him. I didn't know what he was doing, if he was asleep or whatever. But it's just incredible, the pressure, the confusion. And I'm proud of myself for being able to navigate it. So last time I reviewed the video I made last week from right in the same location. And I was talking about Operation Paperclip. German scientists that could speak English, social scientists from the death camps in 1945, who came over to New York in 1945 and onward to when I began in 1960. It was a new neighborhood, completely brand new, on the banks of the Hudson River, 70 miles north of New York City. And my dad rode the train every day into Manhattan. It went under the river and came out in a beautiful place, Grand Central Station. Then he walked up the stairs and walked to work. A beautiful life. And I found out from the reporting of the young women, Annie Jacobson and Whitney Webb, that it was called Project Shamrock. That was the name of our neighborhood. Shamrock Circle. And our house was number 13. We had 3 boys. And in 1960, I was 6, my younger brother was 5, and my older brother was 10. And then my mom and my dad. I asked, brand new neighborhood, 50 new houses, all brand new. And it was a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house with a dinette and a kitchen and a living room and a fireplace. It had its own water well that they drilled down and got the water. It had a furnace where a truck came up and put heating oil in the tank in the basement. It had a basement. We had 3/4 of an acre, and it went up the hill into a forested, wooded area. There were no fences, no yard anywhere had a fence around it. And it was about 100 white children. Like I said, I was 6, maybe the oldest, being born in 1945. The oldest would have been 15. Keene, Keene. He was an older boy, and he died on the Thresher, the Thresher, when it sank. Keene, Keene. Okay. Hardesty, that's an American name, a tough FBI guy or something. Brown, who lived next to me, he worked for IBM. IBM's slogan was think, T-H-I-N-K. I loved his daughter, and they had 3 daughters. We had 3 boys, and they had 3 daughters. And we moved away when we were 13. Terrible, terrible. So what is this? Well, Operation Paperclip is the social scientists from Germany working with our guys in a brand new neighborhood, 100 little white children, to say, hey, can we raise these? If we want an Einstein, can we create an Einstein? If we want a Joe Namath, can we create a Joe Namath? If we want an Elvis, can we create an Elvis from these children? That's what it was, but I don't know the name of the project. Our house was 13 Shamrock Circle. The houses were $8,000. Beautiful, brand new. The whole neighborhood, brand new, all new roads and everything. 100 children, 50 families. And what about Schultz? What about von Bargen? What about Pottenberg? He was a prison guard. He lived next door to us at Greenhaven Prison. What about Gallo? Gallo had a house there. I said, whose house is that? My mom said, don't go near it. I think he was in Greenhaven Prison, and he owned the house in our neighborhood. But our house was 13, and I found out later, you usually don't have 13 for a number when you're developing something new. Shamrock Circle. So Project Shamrock, I believe, was probably what my father worked on in the Chrysler Building in downtown Manhattan. And this is what they said. Whitney Webb said this, I think. Every cablegram that came from overseas into the United States, or went from the United States to overseas, was recorded by the CIA. So we talk about that nowadays with everything you project and put on